Welcome back again to First Take Math. Again, my name is Brian Thomas, and again Jason is doing our great chem work tonight. Tonight I do want to focus on what we call the associative property of addition. Again, these properties always cause confusion, but you should see a word in associative that you're familiar with. So when you see the word associative, pull out the word associate. Okay? Associate kind of implies groups, and in math we know the grouping symbol is our parentheses. So parentheses are what we call our grouping symbols. So when I do the associative property, this is what I'm allowed to do. And again, this only applies to like addition and multiplication. So if you're thinking addition, this works. If you're thinking multiplication, this works. So right now, we've been taught that do what's inside the parentheses first. We would go 1 plus 5 and get 6, 9 plus 6 is 15. And that is a perfect legal strategy because you're following the order of operations. But that's not the only way to do this problem. What you're also allowed to do is, if you look at this problem, you can group what you want, and you can kick out what you don't want. So a key thing with this is, you can group what you want and kick out what you refer to as less desirable. Okay? If you've ever been in cliques and stuff in the world, you know how that kind of works. Some people are on the out, some people are on the in, and you may be the one who decides who's on the out, who's on the in. So right now, the 5 and 1 are kind of getting along. But if I look at this problem more closely, 9 and 1 are actually a lot more compatible, because 9 and 1 make a very friendly number to me, which is a 10. So what we're allowed to do in this problem is we can change, not the order. I can still write the 9 plus the 1 plus the 5. But what I am allowed to do is change where those parentheses go. So that's how the 1 jumps ship. He's joining the 9, and the 5 is now out there on his own. And now, in turn, I get 10 plus 5, which in turn becomes then my 15. So in math, you are allowed to change grouping in an addition problem if you want. You're not stuck with that 1 plus 5 in that problem. And that's, again, very powerful if we start to move into the higher level maths. Right now, why would we do that? Not that big a deal. Okay? So when I look at this 7 plus 8 plus 2, again, that's not a big problem. Most of us can do 7 plus 8 and get our 15, and then 15 and 2 is our 17. But if we want, we are allowed to keep the order. But we are allowed to say, you know what? That 8 goes better with that 2. And so the 8 can jump out of his relationship with the 7 and join a relationship with the 2. And the way we model that is we use parentheses to show that the grouping has changed. When we do that, we are modeling what we refer to as the associative property. Anytime you change those parentheses around and you change groupings, we're modeling this property. So that's the name, but again, more importantly, know that you are allowed to kind of regroup if you want to. You're not stuck with what's in the parentheses. Now if I play this out, you should see we get 7 plus 10. And most of us won't miss 7 plus 10. That's probably a 99.99% chance of getting that right. 7 plus 8, there's a tendency to make a careless mistake there with numbers that we're not as comfortable with. We won't make mistakes with 7s and 10s. Hope not. Now in this problem right here, notice that m plus 6 don't even go together. They're like oil and water. They don't even work. So if I want to what we call simplify this expression, I can't simplify right now because m plus 6 don't go together. But what I'm allowed to do though is bring this problem down. I don't have to change the order. All I got to do is change my grouping. So the 6 really is more friendly with the 3. So I can change him into a different relationship. The m's on the outskirts, the 3 and 6 can go together, and we can simplify that down to now m plus 9. And we refer to that as simplified. We can't go any further with that. So it's simplified. That's like apples and oranges, if you will. An m is an m, a 9 is a bunch of 1s, but an m and a bunch of 1s still don't go together. So that's as far as that one will go. So the social property is very powerful, especially if we start to use letters and things like that. It allows us to rearrange things to go together. So that concludes this lesson. Stay tuned for our next one.